Hi everybody, this is Dee over at Aloha Astro. Here's my site, and we are going to take a look at our full moon coming up. Today is April the 10th. I checked to see when we have the full moon occur. It is on the 11th at 2:08 a.m. Eastern Time, and it's going to be at 21 degrees 33 minutes of Libra. So here we have Planet Watcher showing us the day for April 11th, where we will have the moon at, it's already showing it at 26. Let's push it back a bit and see if we can get it down to the exact degree. Okay, there we go. We will have a conjunction of that moon with the planet Jupiter, and I was looking around to see what else might be going on. It doesn't show in this chart, but there is a star. I believe it is pronounced, let's take a look and see, the page I found on Spica. And I've read some about the fixed stars, but I can't just rattle off information about all the stars. From my perspective, when I'm looking at people's astrological charts, their natal charts, or looking at relationships, the fixed stars are very tiny when compared to the overall that we're looking at in people's lives or relationships to be able to analyze a chart. This is like looking at the individual leaves on a tree rather than taking in the whole tree, at least from my perspective. But I did find mention that this star will be right there along with the moon. The moon will be along with this star. So Spica, or Spica, I'm not sure of the exact pronunciation of it. There's some interesting stuff in here in terms of its influence, and it is, according to Ptolemy, it is the nature of Venus and Mars, and to Alvitus or Alvitus, the nature of Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury. It gives success, renown, riches, a sweet disposition, a love of art and science, unscrupulousness, unfruitfulness, and injustice to innocence. Now, if it is rising or culminating, then it's better. With the different planets in your natal chart, for instance, if you have anything at 21 degrees of Libra or 22 degrees of Libra, then you might want to consider looking at this star to see how it might be affecting you in your own natal chart. In terms of the full moon, I don't know, but if it brings everybody a little bit of luck, then go buy yourself a scratch-off lottery ticket. I certainly will spend $1 and see if my luck improves because of the influence of Jupiter, the planet of growth and abundance, being nearby to that full moon in Libra, and Spica or Spica being active at the same time. So this was at the website constellationsofwords.com/stars Spica HTML. So if you want to learn more about a specific star, you can look into that. I also like to look at the Sabian symbols, and that full moon is going to be at 21 degrees 33 minutes, and I do feel that the rounding up to the next degree is wise. It always seems to resonate more, but we can look at both of them. The symbols for each of these degrees: 21 degrees of Libra, a Sunday crowd enjoying the beach, revivifying contact with the mother force of nature and of social togetherness. And it talks about an oceanic feeling born of attunement to the most basic rhythms of existence at whatever level it might be. And then we go from the mother type of imagery that's in this paragraph here to childlike energy in the next degree when we round up that 21 degrees 33 minutes to 22 degrees, a child giving birds a drink at a fountain. And it even mentions and reflects back to the previous degree how we're talking about salt water up here. And down here we're talking about purified water that is drinkable. So there is a difference between those two symbols. Simple souls, excuse me, and the ability to be able to, what we receive from the infinite, you can give to the finite beings that thirst for it. Man does not need to destroy nature's wilderness through greed and carelessness. He can transform his wilderness into a garden whose singing fountains will attract birds. A lot of symbolic energy here with water. And of course, we couldn't exist without water. It's a very important thing. I also equate water with emotions and the moon. And of course, with a full moon, we are at that culmination of emotions where we come to the end of a cycle. The moon is at its fullest. Our dreams always become more active. Our feelings seem more intense. So these are some things that you might be interested in reading about or meditating upon. The Sabian symbols for the degree that the moon will be in. And back over to the transits that are going on at this time. We still have a T-square very much in place, and it's been that way for a while, as long as we have two slower moving planets involved here. Anytime something comes within range to set up the T-square with Pluto and Uranus, where we're going to have a T-square come about. So we have the moon and Jupiter right now being a part of this, and it does come down to relationships more than anything else, because we have the Aries-Libra dynamic at play. Aries rules the first house, Libra rules the seventh house. Changes, individuality, and the willingness or unwillingness, it really depends here whether somebody is willing to compromise and find a meeting point, or whether there is an unwillingness or an inability to tolerate something that might be intolerable. I see the energy here with Pluto as being tyrant, very powerful, very controlling, and sometimes there has to be a complete destruction before there can be a rebuilding that can occur. Jupiter wants growth, and Uranus wants change. And here we have the individual, here we have the two people, or the idea of having to cooperate and get along with others. But we have something pulling over here with Pluto that makes it challenging or difficult. We also have a square going on between Chiron and Venus conjunct in Pisces, squaring Saturn in Sagittarius, and that can be kind of challenging as well. Being able to have the things that you want, or do the things that you want, or to uphold higher ideals and be able to express them or see them being acted upon. And very often when we have Pisces energy, there can be an element of rescuing, healing, saving, sacrificing. Sometimes too, we don't look at things through the harsh reality that Saturn might bring. Here we tend to see things as we would like to see them, or thinking the best of somebody else, let's say, or sugarcoating something, or denying that something even is, or that there is a problem. I don't know if problems are going to resolve on their own, or things are going to go away if we ignore them. I think this square is calling for a certain amount of constructive action, especially if we have to be outspoken about things that are not. I think of that little patch back during the 60s, 70s. War is not healthy for children and other living things. I'd like to see a resurgence of that patch. I would like to see a time in my life where there aren't missiles being launched at people, where we're not at war, where people are peaceful. May peace prevail. This is peaceful energy over here, and it seems that it's having a hard time expressing itself and manifesting in the world, and passivity is not. I believe that we can have peace, but it's not going to come about through passivity or through ignoring things that are basically wrong or negative in terms of how we fit in with everybody on this planet. People have to start getting along. We really, really have to start getting along, and we have to stop looking at the financial side of everything. Yes, we're in a financial culture, but there are enough resources on this planet that nobody should be in poverty. Nobody should be struggling. Nobody should be without food. It just seems unthinkable to me that with all our communication capabilities, transportation capabilities, our technology, that we haven't solved these problems yet, that we almost seem to be dividing into the haves and the have-nots even more than we have in the past. And that's really very sad. Mars is making a good aspect over here. Mars in Taurus is making a quincunx to the Moon and Jupiter, and this indicates that some actions or hard work may be necessary in bringing about the benefit or the goodness of the Moon conjunct Jupiter in Libra. I would say that goodness prevails, or people are able to come together with that, taking care of common needs, making sure people are cared for, or problems are fixed and solutions are found. There is a weak trine between Mars and Pluto. This would also show that there are actions that can be taken to counteract the effect of the T-square, to basically bring some order and something constructive that can be put to use and used out of any negativity that's going on within this. We have Mercury retrograde, and it will be until approximately May the 3rd. It will be moving back into Aries for some time while it does that, while it retrogrades. Right now, Mercury is in Taurus. Mercury retrograde is a time period for going back over things. The biggest thing to watch out for is lack of communication, missed communication, things that get lost, things that make sure you follow through on all your travel plans, tickets, check your vehicles, check appointments, don't take anything for granted. Do the follow-up in terms of phone calls, emails, and double-check everything before you walk out that door. And make sure you have your keys in your pocket when you go. So that would be the main thing to look out for during a Mercury retrograde. And where it is in your own individual natal chart is going to have a lot to do with how that Mercury retrograde would be affecting you. Take a look at what house Mercury will be moving through while you are through this time period until May the 3rd, and see what type of things you might need to rethink, revisit, replan, reconnect with people, go back over things. That's something that Mercury retrograde is good for. It can be a challenging time, though, for trying to establish something new. It's usually better to dig in a little deeper and research before you jump into anything new for the first time during a Mercury retrograde. If you do something like establish a company or begin a relationship, you would be natalizing or creating a chart that has the planet Mercury retrograde within it, and that can affect the future progress of the relationship or the company or whatever thing you have created a chart for. We also have been having Venus retrograde. Venus will be going direct in 4.8 days. So we have a few more days of Venus in retrograde. Some people have gone back over their relationships, or they have rekindled something, or they're looking at their past relationships. Other people are picking back up something that they enjoyed doing before and they set aside. So that is something good to be doing during the Venus retrograde. The same type of warnings about initiating a brand new relationship and beginning it during Venus retrograde. If you natalize an event such as first time sex while Venus is retrograde, you may have some issues with being able to bring that relationship forward into the future. So that's about all that's going on right now, and enjoy that Moon and Jupiter conjunction at this full moon. Bring beauty into your life. I think one of the nicest things that Libra brings to the entire zodiac is the refined aesthetic sense of beauty, especially musically, artistically. Support an artist, buy a picture or a painting, go out and do something like dance or go to a concert, buy some music. Support the arts right now, appreciate the arts. If you are an artist or a musician or creative in any way, spend some time with this full moon in expressing yourself creatively. It would definitely support you right now with that full moon and Jupiter in Libra. Basically, our muse gets a little bit of extra help. And that's it for now. I guess I'll be back in about 2 weeks when we are looking at another lunation, when we come up to the new moon and we get past some of our retrogrades and things take an upturn, and energy begins to move forward. Right now, things are kind of dragging a little bit with the retrogrades, but take the time to rest, retreat, withdraw, relax, and do all those things before you move forward into the fullness of spring and the plans for the summer. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon.